Okay, welcome back to the NSAA State Baseball Tournament on Ole Red. Brody Hoover leads things off here in the top of the sixth for the Titans. And I believe he's still going up against Logan Klupek. 1-1 in the count as the first pitch was a ball. Second pitch swung on and missed by Hoover. 1-1, fouled off 1-2. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, Hoover is a guy that only played junior varsity last season. Did not have a varsity at-bat until this year, and he said once he got his first hit, he caught on fire and did not turn back. Down 2-2 in the count. Today, he doesn't actually have a hit yet, but he was hit by pitch earlier on in the game. 3-2 is the count. Full count to Hoover with John Hood on deck, and Hood has been one of those guys that has really done well. When he's been towards the beginning of things in an inning, he's scored in back-to-back innings. There's a nice pitch, though, by Klupek, who gets his second strikeout of the game. Swing and a miss there by Hoover. And there's one down here in the top of the sixth. 6 teams remain in Class B. Beatrice and Plattsmouth, the 2 teams eliminated earlier in the day. Elkhorn, North Gretna East playing after this in their winter game. That pitch down in the dirt goes by the catcher, Drew Cook, as a 1-0 count to John Hood. Loser of this game plays Lincoln Northwest tomorrow at 10 a.m. Loser of the Elkhorn North Gretna East game plays Blair tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Both games will be at UNO Tal Anderson Field, home of the Mavericks of Omaha. Pitch down in the dirt, so it's a 2-1 count here to John Hood. Here's the next pitch. Great pitch. Swung on and missed by Hood. And say here, the junior Klopek is doing an incredible job coming into the game and shutting down Norris at the moment. The swing and a miss. And that was actually not strike 2. That was actually, now we're on strike 2. Guess he was on strike 1 there. Ooh, that pitch just hit John Hood. And that's another hit by pitch committed by the Waverly Vikings in this game. Already 2 for Klupek. And it was 1 for Cale Wade. And Cale Fountain has already been hit by a pitch twice in this game. Brody Hoover was hit by a pitch before. John Hood now hit by a pitch. Alex Small was hit by a pitch. That's 5 times now in this game that Waverly has hit a Norris batter with a pitch. Now it's John Hood on first with 1 out. Pitch up high here to Bryce Fountain. 1-0 count. Ball and no strikes. Grounded to short. This could be a double play. Elke on the backhand throws the second to get the force out. And there's one down. That would actually be the second out, but they're going to get John Hood on the force play at second for the second out. Making it to first on a fielder's choice is Bryce Fountain. He has now made it to base, incredibly, now in 4 straight innings. Third and fourth inning, he reached on a single, reached on a walk in the 5th. Fielder's choice now in the 6th. This kid is good. He's only a sophomore, too. First pitch to Alex Small is fouled off. Well, Alex Small played on the basketball team, like I mentioned. He could go on deep runs in state tournaments in the winter now and the spring. He'll be hoping for that. He's now down 0-2 in the count, but Norris made it to the state title game against Scott Catholic in basketball in Lincoln. Can Norris make it to the distance here in Omaha? Ooh, that just hit Alex Small again. That is now the 6th time in this game that a Norris batter has been hit by a pitch. 2nd time in the game for Alex Small. And that one, from what it sounded like, did not feel good. But runners are now on first and second for the Titans. Logan Michael comes up to bat for the 4th straight inning. That is how good Norris has been in this game, getting through their order, how consistent they've been. 12-5 Norris lead, though. They haven't scored since the fourth. Or excuse me, they actually scored in the fifth. My apologies. They did score 3 runs in the fifth. Here's the pitch up high. It's 2-0 to Michael. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Thank you for joining us on All Red. We're glad you're listening. Broadcasting this game from Omaha. 2-0 the pitch. Grounded. That's right through the gap. Might be a play here by the second baseman, Zach Schwang just made a nice little sliding play at second to get the final out. That was hit to the gap, but it was a great play there from the second baseman to record the final out. No runs scored in this inning. 2 runners left on for Norris, and they take a 12-5 lead. Heading into the bottom of the 6th with 6 outs to get for the Titans to move on to play on Wednesday. 1 win away from the state title game. We'll be back after this on All Red. Welcome back to the NSAA State Baseball Tournament on All Red 99.5. We're so glad we're able to follow Norris through this state tournament, able to follow them in basketball as well as baseball. This team is the 1 seed going up against the 5-seeded Waverly, who upset Beatrice on Saturday 8-5. Beatrice unfortunately losing earlier on today. First pitch up high, 1-0 here to Eli Russell. What a run it's been for Lincoln Northwest. Didn't expect to make it this far. Their coach said they were playing on extra time, bonus time, he said. He's just happy to be there. 2-0 count, 2 balls, no strikes. And this team, Lincoln Northwest, were not favorites to make it, but they actually beat Waverly in the district final to make it to state as really big underdogs. Swing and a miss there makes it 2-1 here to Russell. By the way, I want to mention Porter Dudder's still on the mound here for Norris. The longer they can have him in the game, the less arms they have to use out of the bullpen. The 2-1, foul tipped, 2-2. But Lincoln Northwest were not favorites, and now they've made it to the state tournament, and they lost 1 to Norris, but they won against Beatrice. They got a win in state. And as it stands, as it is a 12-5 game, they would have to play Waverly tomorrow morning, unless Waverly makes an incredible comeback, which is possible in the state tournament. That pitch off the dirt, 3-2 count. So it's Russell, Nolan Motz, and Zach Schwang, who made an incredible play, sliding play at second base in the previous inning. That one's fouled off. Eli Russell was trying to check his swing, but ended up hitting his bat. Fouled that one off, so it's still a full count. Jerry Dittenberg, the head coach for Waverly. Last season, they went 13-17 with a loss to Norris, 8-6 and 8-2. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, full count walk there for Eli Russell to lead off the 6th. Now there's a runner on. Actually, the fact that Waverly lost to Norris both times last season actually reminds me of a stat that I saw that was very intriguing. Waverly, since March of 2021, is 2-8 against Norris. They haven't had a good time against the Titans. Here's the pitch down low to Nolan Motz, who did have an RBI double back in the 3rd, but hasn't came up since. So it's 1-0. Pitch down in the dirt again, 2-0. Wow, what a heads-up play there for Michael, who took one in the dirt, then threw it to first to try to catch off the runner off guard, Eli Russell, but he was back in there safely. Norris is 4-0 against Waverly in the last 2 seasons. They could be 5-0 if they were to win this game. The pitch is grounded foul, and it is now 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes with no outs, runner on first, and a 12-5 Norris lead over Waverly. The Vikings. The pitch. Swing and a miss. And that is not a strikeout. Okay. I guess I'm getting confused with these pitches. I thought it was a 2-2 count there. I thought there was 2 foul balls, but I guess not. Now there's 2 strikes on the batter, so if he does get a swing and a miss here, that would be a strikeout. That pitch down in the dirt, though. I believe that racks the count full at 3-2. Double play would go a long way in this stage of the game. Just having to get 6 more outs to win it for Norris. Here's the 3-2, and that one's a high pitch. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks here for Porter Dutter. And we're going to get Sean Bartholomew to take a mound visit immediately beginning this 6th inning. He knows how important this 7-run lead is. Cannot give it up. With a guy like Zach Schwang coming up to bat here with 2 on. Schwang batting .360 this season, 18 hits. One of the best batters on the team. And it doesn't seem like Dutter will come out of the game. Just Bartholomew talking to his pitcher. And the entire infield comes in, pats him on the back and the chest and says, "You got this, man. Keep it going," because he's been doing an incredible job. He came in for Crew Muller all the way back in the 3rd inning and has done incredible. But Sean Bartholomew, like I said, coaching since 2017, over 100 career wins as a coach, and talked about how his team is locked in, and they have been locked in all season. They don't care if they're the 1 seed or the 8 seed. They still just want to play like they usually do and try to win the state tournament. One of the things Cale Fountain said to me, as here is the first pitch, delivering to Schwang in there for strike 1, 0-1. One of the things Fountain said to me was that he knows that if his team plays, if they all play perfectly, if they all play as they're intended in their intended roles, they will not be beaten. That's if they all play in their as their intended roles. Second pitch down and away is 1-1. They check on the runner at second. He's back in there safely. As it stands today, Norris has been pretty much playing about as good as you could want besides that 3rd inning. They've been playing super well. Seems like everybody's been playing in their intended roles so far. It's why they have a 12-5 lead, it seems. 1-1 pitch with no outs. Down low for ball 2. See, this is why this game is not over yet, though, because at any time, Waverly can get a good inning and completely put the pressure on the Titans, on their pitching staff. They did score 5 runs in the 3rd. Stepping off is Dutter. He'll reset, get ready for the 2-1 pitch. 2-1. High fly ball, high in the air, but in shallow right field. And nice catch by Brody Hoover. The right fielder runs in and makes the catch. Hoover had a long way to go, but based on the fact that I saw him sprint earlier to replace his helmet with his hat when he forgot to, he is a quick kid. He can get across the field very quickly, and he just made it known there as he ran into shallow right field, which was not an easy run, but he still made the catch with plenty of time to spare, and Hoover gets the first out of the inning. Coming up now is Brennan Miller, 0 for 2 in the game. Flew out to Cale Fountain at short back in the 3rd, then struck out in the 4th, hasn't been up since. That pitch is inside and gets away from Logan Michael, the catcher. It's going to advance both runners. So Eli Russell advances to 3rd. Nolan Motts advances to 2nd. I think that's going to be a pass ball. I don't think that'll be a wild pitch on Dutter. That pitch was just inside, but it did hit the glove of Michael. He still could have caught that inside. Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball down low, 2-0 to Miller with Garrett Ryan on deck at the bottom of the order for the Vikings. A game that started at 4 p.m. It's been an hour and 10 minutes, or excuse me, 2 hours and 10 minutes. A lot longer than Norris's previous game, as it would stand if this game would continue to go this way, as Norris handed a loss to Lincoln Northwest 13-2 on Saturday. That one's fouled off, and it's a 2-1 count. 2 balls and a strike, runners on 2nd and 3rd for the Vikings. They can get back in this game right here, right now. That one's cracked on the left field line and deep. This one might not go all the way. Monroe makes the catch out and left. Tagging and scoring is going to be Eli Russell. So that is the second out as Brennan Miller flies out to left. But it is going to be a sacrifice fly and an RBI. It's going to score Eli Russell from third. Staying at second is Nolan Motts. But 12-6 is the score now in favor of Norris, as Waverly gets one right back. So Motts on second, only runner on right now for Waverly, with Garrett Ryan coming up to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today, hit by pitch, and he cracks one out into right center field. And getting a read on it, making the catch is John Hood out in right center for the final out of the inning. Waverly does score a run. Eli Russell comes home off a sacrifice fly by Brennan Miller, but Norris has a comfortable 12-6 lead heading into the top of the seventh, trying to close things out and have a day off before they'll play on Wednesday, one win away from the state title game. We'll be back after this on Ole Red. Welcome back to the NSAA State Baseball Tournament on Ole Red. Top of the seventh inning, leading off is Cale Fountain, the Tiger. Swings and misses at the first pitch. Fountain has had 4 trips to the plate, has a RBI single, flew out to right field, and has been hit by pitch twice. Takes one down low for a 1-1 count. Norris has had a great time at the state tournament as of late. They've won a game, and they've made the state tournament for the last 13 years. That one's down in the dirt, pops up, ball 2, 2-1. They haven't gotten a win, or they've gotten a win in each state tournament every time except twice in the last 13 years. Here's the 2-1. Down and away, 3-1 to Fountain. They lost twice in 2011, lost to Mount Michael Benedictine in the losers round 1, 4-3, did not win a game. Then in 2022, surprisingly, they didn't win a game, even as the 1 seed. Cale Fountain draws a 5-pitch walk there and a ball down in the dirt. And Fountain is now on for the 4th time this afternoon to lead off the 7th inning with a 12-6 lead. 2022, Norris lost to Waverly in that game. Waverly was an 8 seed that year, and Norris was a 1 seed, and they didn't win a game that year. And Coach Sean Bartholomew said he knows his team is locked in. A lot of the players were on that 2022 team, but a lot of them were able to bounce back from that last season. But they unfortunately lost in the title game to Elkhorn North 2-1. Pitch up high to Jordan Monroe. Cale Fountain is standing on first base. This one's chopped foul down the third base line, and that one is going to be too far to reach for Brennan Miller over at third. Well, it has become quite a beautiful day here. It seems like it's going to be beautiful for the remainder of the week. Now, Wednesday, it did show a little bit of signs that it might rain a little bit. Wednesday, it's looking like it's going to be raining in the late afternoon. That one's fouled off again by Monroe, and he keeps the count alive. He has 2 strikes right now. I know there was a chance that the games could be postponed today if it rained all day, but the rain held off for the most part, besides early on in the morning. Here's the pitch. It's up high for a ball. Still alive in the count is Monroe. But, I mean, it was raining and cloudy the entire day. The sun is still shining on the field. It's been shining on the field for a while now. Well, this one is laced on the right field line and is deep, and it's going to go all the way back to the wall. Rounding second and going to third is Cale Fountain. Will he take the trip home? No. But it goes all the way to the wall where it says 325 out there in right field, and it's a double here for Jordan Monroe. And Fountain is on third. Monroe is on second. Crew Moeller comes up to the plate again to bat here for Norris. And this is what Norris wants here, to give themselves some insurance runs here in this top half of the 7th with just 3 outs remaining to get for the Titans in order to book their ticket to the semifinals, essentially, of the state tournament, which would be played on Wednesday. Now remember, this is a double elimination bracket. So Norris, if they were to win this game, would have no losses. They would need to lose twice if they were to win this on Wednesday. If Waverly loses this, them and Lincoln Northwest would have one loss, meaning that they would only be able to afford to get one more loss, or else they would be eliminated. 2 pitches down low, 2-0 count here to Muller. Muller reached on an error last time he was up. Takes a pitch right at the knees for strike one, 2-1. Muller has been on base twice in this game, reached on an error, also got an RBI double. Sacrifice fly did score an RBI also. And did start the game by pitching, but he's ahead in this count, 3-1. Logan White is on deck, by the way. Three-one count. The pitch. Down in the dirt, ball 4. And Crew Muller has been walked, and that loads the bases here for Norris. Fountain, Cale Fountain specifically, on third. Monroe is on second. Muller is on first. Logan White to the plate with the bases loaded and no outs in a 12-6 Norris lead. We get a mound visit here from Coach Dittenberg. And I think that might be the end of the day. Nope, not yet. Logan Klopek will stay in the game. Nope, he's out. I correct myself on that one. So Logan Klopek is coming out of the game. Coming in will be Brady Schieffer, the sophomore. So we will be right back with the pitching change here for Waverly. Norris leads at 12-6 over Waverly. Here in the top of the 7th. We'll be back after this on All Red. Welcome back to the NSAA State Baseball Tournament on All Red. Waverly against Norris. Norris is up 12-6 here in the top of the 7th with no outs and the bases loaded for the Titans. Waverly has had to go deep into their bullpen in this game so far. They're on their 5th pitcher of the game. They started out with Cale Wade, who played pretty well. Hunter Claycomb came in and wasn't able to really get too much going. Nash Peterson didn't really pitch for too long. Logan Klopek pitched for a few innings, but he was just taken out for Brady Schieffer, who was in the game, a sophomore, and has the bases loaded. I mean, what a rough time to come into the game here. As a sophomore, bases loaded, no outs. It's a tough task here for the Vikings pitcher. First pitch down low for ball 1. You can just tell he's feeling the pressure right now, especially when you got a guy like Logan White who's at the plate, who's been playing so well in this game so far. Next pitch down and away, 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes here to Logan White. Brody Hoover is on deck. That pitch is just above the belt for strike 1, 2-1. If you're just joining us on All Red, this is the winners game. Both of these teams won on Saturday. And a high fly ball out into center field. Hunter Tums has got a read on it, makes the catch, tagging and scoring from third base is Cale Fountain. And Norris has extended their lead to 7 runs once again. 13-6 lead for the Titans, leading it here over the Vikings. Sacrifice fly there by Logan White. Staying at first and second is Muller and Monroe. Here's Brody Hoover with runners on first and second. Infield playing a little bit in for Waverly, expecting bunt. He won't bunt. Takes the ball down low for a 1-0 count. So like I said, if you're just joining us, runners on first and second, 1 out. 13-6 Norris lead over Waverly. A pitch in there for strike 1, 1-1. Brody Hoover at the plate. It got a little bit closer than Norris would have liked midway through this game. There's a great curveball in there for strike 2. It's 1-2. Brody Hoover patted his chest right there, but looking at the dugout saying, my bad. I don't know if he's saying he should have swung at that or he did pat his chest. But it's a ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. That pitch goes off the glove of the catcher, Drew Cook, and it's a double steal by Norris. Monroe advances from second to third. Muller advances from first to second. Both runners in scoring position now for the Titans on a 2-2 count. Also get a mound visit here from Cook visiting Schaefer. Nothing more than just being talked to, nothing more than that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brody Hoover doesn't have an RBI yet. Looking for one here, takes one down low, and it's a full count. This pitch could load the bases here for the Titans. But at one point in this game, it was 4-0 Norris, then 5-4 Waverly. Fouled off by Hoover. Still a full count, 3-2 with 1 out. After that 5-4 lead for Waverly, it turned in to a 10-5 lead after 1 half inning for Norris after they went down. They scored 6 runs to take the lead. Here's the 3-2. Fouled off by Hoover, and it's still 3-2. Since that 10-5 lead, it's gone up to 12-5. Then Waverly got one back, made it 12-6. Then Norris has scored here in this inning off a sacrifice fly to make it 13-6. The 3-2 pitch again. Down in the dirt, bounces up. And it's a full count walk for Brody Hoover to load the bases once more. And it's John Hood who comes up to bat. What a game John Hood has had. Has actually come up to bat in the last 5 straight innings. Reached on a single and scored in the 3rd. Reached on an error and scored in the 4th. Struck out in the 5th and was hit by a pitch in the 6th. And then was unfortunately a fielder's choice where he was out at second base. First pitch was, I believe, a ball. Second pitch, a strike. Here's the pitch. Up high for ball. Still bases loaded, though, for John Hood. On deck for Norris, Bryce Fountain, the Nebraska commit. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Now that is a strikeout there for John Hood, his 2nd of the game. And there's 2 down here for Norris as here comes Bryce Fountain with the bases loaded, First strikeout of the game there for Brady Schaefer. 4th of the game for Waverly on the mound. So here in Class B, Gretna East and Elkhorn North set to be playing at 6:30 p.m. It's 6:25 p.m., so obviously that game will be starting late. First pitch fouled off there by Bryce Fountain. It's 0-1. The 0-1. Fountain cracks one right to second base. Having trouble fielding it is Zach Schwong, but he makes the play over at first. He had enough time there, and that will end the top of the 7th. Another play, another ground out to second base for the Titans. The Titans, though, get an insurance run in this inning off of a sacrifice fly by Logan White scoring Cale Fountain, and they take a 7-run lead into the bottom of the 7th, just needing 3 more outs to move on to the semifinals. We'll be back after this with a 13-6 Norris lead heading to the bottom of the 7th on Ole Red. All right, welcome back to the bottom of the 7th inning here on Ole Red 99.5. 13-6 lead for Norris, trying to book their ticket to a Wednesday game in the semifinals of the state tournament, where they would have to lose 2 games back-to-back to be eliminated from the tournament. They'd have to win 1 of those 2 games to be played just to make it to the state title game on Friday evening. First pitch up high from Porter Dutter, who's still in the game for Norris, going up against the top of the order, and Hunter Tomes. Second pitch outside, 2-0. It would be Hunter Tomes, Landon Elke, and Drew Cook, the 3 batters at least to come up in this inning for Waverly. In the bottom of the 7th, Waverly needs to score 7 runs in 3 outs to tie up this game and send it to extra innings. That pitch fouled off, 2-1 off the backstop. This game completely different to what it was just a few weeks ago, the last time these 2 teams played. Norris beating Waverly 3-2 in 9 innings. It's looking a little bit similar to that game earlier on in the season where Norris shut out Waverly 10-0. Here's this pitch, fouled off again off the back netting, and it's a 2-2 count here for Porter Dutter. The difference, I think, in this game, obviously the hitting and the scoring, but Waverly having to use 5 pitchers in this game. Norris just so far having to only use 2. Porter Dutter has come in and done his job. The 2-2, fouled off again off the netting down that third baseline and foul. If Norris were to win this game, they'd play Wednesday at 10 a.m. If they were to lose, if Waverly were to come back from this, they would play tomorrow at 10 a.m. against Lincoln Northwest in an elimination game. The 2-2, down in the dirt, rings the count full at 3-2. Norris in their 13th straight season of making it to the state tournament. Last year lost in a heartbreaker to Elkhorn North in the title game, 2-1. Here's the pitch, 3-2, ground ball right past the diving attempt of Alex Small, the third baseman, and it's a base hit to lead off the bottom of the 7th for Hunter Tomes. Small definitely gave it all he got. Dove for that one, went right past his glove. Cale Fountain couldn't get a fast enough jump on it either, and that's going to be a base hit here for Waverly. And we're going to get a mound visit here by Sean Bartholomew. Is this the end of the road for Porter Dutter on the mound? I feel like Bartholomew's maybe just trying to... Nope. He's not just trying to chat. He's taking him out. So Porter Dutter finishes his day with an incredible performance on the mound. Phenomenal, phenomenal game. Came in with 2 outs in the 3rd, pitched all the way until the 7th. Dutter with a great game, giving up just 1 run while he was out on the mound. And we're going to get a new pitcher for Norris. No outs here in the bottom of the 7th with a runner on first. Norris up 13-6 over Waverly, trying to make it to play on Wednesday in the semifinals of state. We'll be back after this on All Red. All right, welcome back to the All Red 99.5's coverage of the NSA State Baseball Tournament. Porter Dutter with a great performance on the mound. Goes 3 1/3. Gives up just 1 run. Finishes out his day with a strikeout as well. Didn't hit a batter with a pitch. Didn't throw a wild pitch. Was pretty confident out on the mound. Great game from him coming in for the starter Crew Muller. Now we have coming in now for Norris, number 5, the senior Beckett Lund coming out onto the mound. 1-2 on the season on the mound, 3.11 ERA. He's coming in to get the final 3 outs of the game and finish things off this evening here in this 1-0 match. And by 1-0, I mean both of these teams won this weekend. Waverly beating Beatrice 8-5, Norris beating Lincoln Northwest 13-2. Speaking of Lincoln Northwest, loser of this game plays Lincoln Northwest tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And then the loser of that game would end up being eliminated from the tournament. And the winner of that game would end up playing the winner of this game, where they would have to win 2 in a row because this bracket is a double elimination. You have to lose 2 games in this tournament to be eliminated. None of these teams have a loss yet, and the winner of this game would not have a loss, with only 1 win away from making it to the state title game, which would give them complete advantage. Think about the College World Series in Omaha. It's a little bit like that in terms of the bracket. Actually, it's exactly like that, I would say. So here is Lund. First pitch down the chute for strike 1. That's a good sign there for Norris. Didn't look like Landon Elke, who's up at the plate, didn't look like he wanted to swing at that one, actually. I think his goal is maybe to test Lund and see, can you throw a strike in your first pitch? The lefty winds and delivers and throws a strike right at the knees of Elke for strike 2. It's 0-2. Just 3 more outs needed for Norris to finish the job this evening. What an absolutely gorgeous day here in middle of May in northeast Nebraska. Going into the windup was Lund. He ended up checking, though, on Tomes over at first base. He slides in there safely. Still no balls and 2 strikes here for Landon Elke with Drew Cook on deck, the catcher. The pitch. And that went up high for ball 1. Elkhorn North and Gretna East to play after this on the bottom half of the bracket in Class B. The loser of that game after this would play Blair, who beat Plattsmouth earlier on, all in the bottom half. Here's the pitch. High fly ball out into center field. John Hood standing under it. Makes the catch for the first out of the inning. And Norris, 2 more outs to get in this game to finish the job. Landon Elke, who did phenomenal in the first 2 at-bats, drew back-to-back walks and scored a run in the third, has now flown out in back-to-back at-bats. So here's Drew Cook, the catcher, with a runner on first, going up against Beckett Lund here. First pitch is up high for ball 1. Logan Michael, the catcher, was wanting to check on the runner at first, but the ball just slipped out of his hand. Luckily, though, for Michael's sake, Tomes was sliding back to first and didn't see that the ball left his hand to try to steal second. That pitch fouled off, makes it a 1-1 count here to Cook. Like I said earlier, last time these two teams played in the state tournament was 2022, with Waverly beating the 1-seeded Norris team, a Norris team that didn't win a game in state. There's a nice strike in there. So 2 strikes now here to Cook. Lund trying to get a strikeout here to get the second out of the inning and force Waverly down to their final out of the game. Here's the pitch. Ooh, that one is cracked down the right foul line, and it's foul. We've seen hits like that before, especially one that was hit and landed just on the right side of that foul line. It made it so difficult for the right fielder to make a play out there. Hitting it down the foul lines is a dangerous thing. Fouled off again. Still 2 strikes. I believe it's a ball and 2 strikes is the count. Bruin Sampson, the first baseman, is on deck, but as it stands now, Waverly will be playing tomorrow at 10 a.m. against Lincoln Northwest, barring an absolutely legendary comeback. 1-2. Fouled off again. 3 straight foul balls here for Cook. We saw a similar at-bat like this. I believe it was all the way back in the... I think it was all the way back in the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Picked up by the catcher. Throw to first is in time. It's a double play to end the game. Oh, my goodness. A swing and a miss in the dirt. Swing and a miss by Cook is the strikeout for the second out. Hunter Tomes got caught in between first and second and couldn't come back in time. And the tag is applied by Bryce Fountain. A double play, a wacky double play to end the game. It's a 2-3 double play. That does not sound right, but it is. A 2-3 double play for Norris to finish the job, and the Titans are undefeated heading to the state semifinals on Wednesday. They'll take tomorrow off, and they'll play Wednesday at 10 a.m. with a chance to go to the state title game. Waverly will fall down and play Lincoln Northwest tomorrow in an elimination game in the top half of the bracket. It's a 13-6 win for Norris. Back-to-back dominant wins for the Titans to go and play Wednesday. We'll be back for more post-game thoughts after this on All Red.